or spice. Designed to mimic marijuana, the man-made drug has far more powerful effects. This man says he's used it before.
What K2 does, it puts you in a world, a delusional world, have your mind spinning, it's mind-altering.
K2 is made by spraying various illegal chemicals onto plants. It's then ground up and smoked. Many users experience confusion, hallucinations, rapid heart rate, and even seizures. Police say it's sold at small neighborhood grocery stores.
This K2.
Is it?
A CBS undercover producer found it at this Brooklyn corner store last year.
Two of them?
One.
All right.
$10?
$10.
K2 usage is growing nationwide. The CDC reports more than 3,500 calls of synthetic marijuana use to poison centers over a 5-month period last year. That's a 229% jump from the year before. Drug dealers have managed to stay one step ahead of federal law enforcement. No sooner did they ban one recipe for K2, manufacturers come up with another, making it virtually impossible, Scott, for the ingredients to be banned.
Road rage has become such a problem that Connecticut put this advice in its driver's manual. If you want to wave to another driver, please use all your fingers.
After an argument, a driver in Florida ran over Joe Calderazzo on his motorcycle, breaking his leg.
I think people need to understand the depth of their actions.
Calm down.
Road rage caught on a cell phone camera in Ramona, California, just outside of San Diego over the weekend.
If I wouldn't have jumped out of the way, he definitely would have hit me.
Road rage videos of drivers fighting with bats, pulling guns, or breaking windows have all gone viral. In May, an argument between drivers turned into a fight in the streets of Houston. Then one driver rammed the other's car and took off. A new AAA Foundation study finds nearly 80% of drivers express significant anger, aggression, or road rage behind the wheel at least once in the last year. An estimated 51% of drivers, that's 104 million people, purposely tailgated, and 47% of drivers yelled at another driver.
It was Friday night at Eaton Park, and 4 police officers arrived for dinner.
They're regulars here all the time.
The officers had placed their order and were waiting.
I heard talk, and I happened to glance over, and there was a couple that was coming into the restaurant, and they decided that they didn't want to sit with us, and they made it very adamant.
They looked over and they said, "We don't want to sit here," and you could tell that they were looking at the police, and so they moved them to another section.
Under other circumstances, the couple being moved to the other side of the restaurant might have been the end of it. But against the backdrop of what occurred in this country over the past week, the officers at the table decided that this was an opportunity. While comfortable with their local residents, these officers are feeling the recent tensions with their encounters on the street.
But I do feel it from people that might be on a traffic stop or passing through the area, just little things they say.
But they didn't expect it in a restaurant, so they decided to pick up the couple's check.
Showing that, just because you don't like somebody, it doesn't mean you can't be kind to them.
And they sent the check to the table with a message reading, "Sir, your check was paid for by the police officers that you didn't want to sit next to. Thank you for your support. I left a $10 tip, too."
And they want to make it known that in our community, they're here to be our friends and take care of us and not our enemies that, are out to get you.
Or, as Sergeant Cashauer put it,
not all cops are bad. Not all people are bad.
Down to Venezuela, a nation that should be one of the wealthiest in the world, is today filled with starving people. The country is a testament to the damage socialism can do. Dale Hurd is on this story.
There are lines, and then there are lines in Venezuela. Its economy in ruins. The average Venezuelan shopper now spends almost 10 hours a week just waiting to buy food.
From 4 o'clock in the morning, I've been standing here in line. I have number 900. 900! This is my ID card. I'm Venezuelan. There is no food. There is nothing.
This is a nation on the verge of total societal collapse. Food riots are increasing. More people are murdered in Caracas than in any city outside of a declared war zone. And with food trucks being hijacked and stores looted, President Nicolas Maduro has now put the army in charge of the food supply chain. Many Venezuelans are slowly starving. Kelly Vegas has lost 30 pounds, making sure her daughter eats before she does.
Right now, we eat only 2 meals a day. If we eat breakfast, we don't have lunch. If we have lunch, there is no dinner.
Across the country, kitchen cupboards are empty. And with inflation expected to hit 720% this year, it doesn't pay for low-wage employees to even show up for work. Until a few days ago, the government was forced to implement rolling 4-hour blackouts to save power, and a 2-day work week for government employees. This in a nation with the world's largest proven oil reserves. But years of mismanagement under a socialist government have brought a significant chunk of the nation's energy sector to a halt. When oil prices were high, former President Hugo Chavez threw around huge sums of cash to fund a socialist movement across Latin America. When his successor was forced to throw open the border with Colombia this week so that desperate Venezuelans could search for food, you would have thought it was the fall of the Iron Curtain. Javier Gutierrez said, "I came here to buy rice, sugar, milk, medicine, and whatever else we can get, because we already don't have anything to eat. We're starving." This week, U.S. company Kimberly-Clark finally had enough of the economic chaos and closed its factory in Caracas. Citibank has also closed the account the Venezuelan government used to make international payments. President Maduro is calling it a U.S. plot against him. It's unclear whether Maduro is on borrowed time. Most Venezuelans want him out. A referendum campaign against him has huge momentum, but Maduro still controls most of the levers of power.
Attorney General Loretta Lynch was on the Hill today in front of the House Judiciary Committee at an oversight hearing on Justice Department operations. Regarding those operations, Attorney General Lynch stonewalled the committee with non-answers and legal diversion.
Director Comey stated that there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information. Do you agree with Director Comey's statement?
Again, I would refer you to Director Comey for any further explanation as to the basis for his recommendations. The recommendation that I received from the team, including Director Comey, was that the investigation be resolved without charges.
Director Comey made a recommendation, but he made a recommendation to the Department of Justice, which you head, and you would have to come to the final conclusion on whether or not to act. I would presume that before you acted, you would look at his conclusions and determine whether you agreed with them or not.
Meanwhile, the Democrats used the opportunity to promote gun control.
There is an epidemic of gun violence. And how has the majority in Congress responded? With emergency hearings about Hillary Clinton's and Lois Lerner's emails.
Democratic Congressman Hank Johnson weighed in on the Democrats' perception that the hearings were unimportant to the protection of national security.
My colleagues on the other side of the aisle don't. They're just tone deaf, and they insist on chasing rabbits down holes by trying to make some hay out of something that this is over with.
But Lynch could not avoid the clarity surrounding her decision to speak with Bill Clinton days before the decision and her declaration to support the FBI's investigation before the investigation was closed.
You have a conversation with the former president, the husband of the subject of an ongoing investigation, and you have that conversation before they've interviewed the subject and before they've reached their recommendations and finished their investigation. That's what triggered you to do this thing you've never done before, which is announce, I don't care what they recommend, I'm going to follow it.
My concern was that the conversation that I had with President Clinton would be seen by some as having an influence over that. I felt it was important to clarify.
Just some, General Lynch, a lot of people.
But now, as Kurt Nimmo writes, FBI Director James Comey's past and present employment as Director of HSBC's holdings and subsequent promotion to Independent Non-Executive Director and a member of the Financial System Vulnerabilities Committee, an appointment set to expire this year, clearly has blatant ties to the Clinton Foundation. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte of Virginia and committee member Representative Trey Gowdy of South Carolina want to know if the emails that were deleted and recovered by the FBI had anything to do with the Clinton Foundation. The Mexican drug cartel money laundering Swiss bank, HSBC, is connected to the Clinton Foundation through a number of initiatives, including its Building the Corporate Coalition, investing in management and leadership in Vietnam, and other American economy destroying free trade agreement projects. Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, and a number of transnational corporations also participate. The Clintons have used the foundation to enrich themselves. Documents disclosed through litigation by Judicial Watch provided a roadmap for over 200 conflict of interest rulings that led to at least $48 million in speaking fees for the Clintons during Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton and her aides were involved in